Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for your patience, thank you for your music, and above all, thank you for your energy. This is CDR, which is short for Create, Define, Release. This is a community, CDR basically operates to create a community of producers, practitioners and artists, and create a space for sharing, connecting and learning that is very much closely linked to industry names, industry professionals. I want to do some boring things first that are necessary. To be bored is necessary because it means the excitement is more exciting, right? First thing I want to say, fire exit is very clear. It's out where you came. There's only one way out. No, there isn't. It's that way. I messed up the first piece of information. Fire exits. It's fine. Lavatories are behind you. Thank you. I wanted also to point out that it's really crucial as well to just remind everybody that events like this and CDR themselves, we're funded by the Arts Council. And a lot of that is, what we need is feedback, testimonials, or just like positive energy in admin form from you. And you'll see that there are QR codes on the wall. So if you please have a couple of minutes to spare, scan those QR codes, give some great feedback, and things like this can keep happening, and spaces like this can survive and keep existing. So we'd really appreciate that from you if you can remember at the end or in the wherever. So yeah, blessings and welcome to CDR. We are joined tonight.
No.
By an absolute Manchester legend, namely Chunky. I'm going to intro you. You're not going to like it. I know you, and I know you're not going to enjoy this, so you can just pull faces over there. Chunky hails from Manchester, obviously, but you're Zimbabwean British. Zimbabwean.
I'll just say Afro-Mancunian.
Afro-Mancunian, perfect. You are a host, producer, vocalist, and a hub of the musical community in Manchester and beyond. Resident MC for Swamp 81, True Tiger, Hessel Audio, and that's made you Fabric's you're one of Fabric's most frequent performers. Did you know that?
What? Ever in the history?
Ever in the history of Fabric.
I didn't know that, bro.
And obviously, I know you, and you hark back to being one of the resident MCs and DJs also for Hoya Hoya Hit and Run, and you're also the frontman for Riot Jazz, incredible collective. 16-piece collective, right?
No. I mean,
bigger.
It's 9-piece.
9-piece.
On its.
But you make up for about 7 people, so it feels like 16 pieces.
Exactly.
That's where I've got it from.
Yes, P. Yeah.
I understand. And obviously this year, everyone who knows you and everyone who doesn't know you and is aware of your work has celebrated your debut album, full LP, which is Somebody's Child, which is out on Eglo Records in February this year. It's incredible. It has been lauded as witty, insightful, a thoughtful 11-track LP that fuses minimalist deconstructed grime and rap with a variety of Afro-diasporic sounds. Yeah. And you've had like rave reviews across the board, which absolutely deserved. It's an incredible piece of music. So if you haven't checked it already, please check out Somebody's Child by Chunky on Eglo Records. Well, we're going to get into it. We have some laptop stuff going on, which is standard for a CDR. I would feel weird if everything ran completely to plan and if computers were on board with us. But I want to welcome you. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you for having me. Yeah.
Oh.
If you'll have me, I'll be had.
Well, you're being had right now. You're being had right now.
Yeah, I'm being had. They're having me over. Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to ask, I know we want to talk about the album, but I'm also interested. We spoke this morning and we had a really interesting, as ever, whenever we chat, it goes off on several tangents and I really enjoy it. I'm really stimulated.
On and on. Yeah.
Both of us making breakfast while we spoke, I liked that.
Yeah.
I heard some clattering going on. I heard some kitchen utensils.
Yeah.
But we spoke about a lot, and I think I wanted to ask you, I usually ask about early influences, but you have had several influences, and you were kind of, forgive me for saying, but like kind of thrust into a scene. You were super young to be like in the scenes you were in, the club spaces you were in. And it even says, I remember Resident Advisor says you were thrust in with A-listers from the get-go of music. So I kind of want to start by talking about kind of what you perceive as your early influences, maybe for this album in particular, but who do you feel in the beginnings of your music career were some of the most influential people around you?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, like I was saying to you this morning, it's like, there's how early, do you know what I mean?
However early you want to go.
I mean,
go super early and then, yeah.
I mean, always like, always growing up around music, I definitely, at this point, I can definitely identify moments and things that I was exposed to when I was like you know, pretty much a baby. Like, you know, you have your memories of like, you know what I mean, of being like tiny and like a glass being on the table and just be like, ah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have memories of like music getting played, like my parents and people, you know, like people around just like, just knowing good music and vibing to good music. Do you know what I mean? Loads of like reggae and like country music, which is like, I always say, especially from a lyric writing point of view, I think like those genres of music, like some of the best lyrics you could find, like country music's crazy, like some of the topics that get explored. So even just I mean, Skittles always used to say, he's like, it's weird with you, it's like music's a feeling, and it's never a way I've described it. But then since meeting people who didn't grow up with music and weren't exposed to that stuff, so for them it was like something they had to think about to engage. Whereas like, you know, if there's a guitar and a drum and it sounds right, we can work with that, you know what I mean? And I've recently, in recent years, realised that I'm fortunate to have that reaction to some, you know, inanimate objects getting messed around with. Do you know what I mean? So I think from that early, it's like, it's not really been something where I thought, oh, this is A flat, this is B major, it's only more recent, like I'm saying, more recently, I'm like, right, okay, that's an A sharp, that's a B.
It's been more instinctive before.
Yeah, it's just like you go with what you go with. Everyone's like, don't you play an instrument? You're like, no, but my shit sounds amazing, so. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then moving forward, I just think it's like people like Chimpo. I mean, first time I ever went to radio, it was still a lot of pirate radio back then. So first time I went to pirate radio was like Chimpo took me there, and it was like Unity. Unity's now legit. You know what I mean? They crossed over. You know what I mean? Allegedly.
I know.
But like before, Unity wasn't legit, and we used to go there and like do this radio show and stream it out and like have a phone on the side and like, do you know what I mean? And people like, yeah, big up the 071, like Johnny says he loves you, you know what I mean? Type vibes. And
so immediately, like, community's a massive part of it. So you've gone from like what I call like the kitchen table music, which is what our parents or our families played, where you're around the kitchen's like a big part for me, where this music was played. Definitely, and there's like a vein of like one's musical beginnings and understanding what the people that we love, how they respond to music and what they listen to. But then you've had the benefit, which isn't everybody's journey, of going straight into a community situation like a pirate radio station, where you are feeling strangers but who are an extended community.
I mean,
enjoy music.
I mean, definitely that would be making it a bit simple, but that, you know, in its simplest form, that's exactly what happened. Because I think the first time I wrote a lyric was after, it's like 2002, 2003. I remember, I don't know, there'll be many people in here who don't even know what LimeWire is, but basically,
LimeWire forever.
LimeWire is where you'd like steal things.
It was the old SoulSeek.
Yes.
Yeah, not any thieves.
Rebranding. It's like Megashare. That guy did like, sorry, okay. It's like Megashare. The guy got arrested, didn't he? He had Wyclef in his advert and all that kind of stuff. And everyone's like, yeah, Megashare. It's like 2 weeks later.
Banged up.
He's been done for fraud. But yeah, so LimeWire, and then there used to be this thing. I don't know. There's a word for it, but I don't know what. I just said ASLID because like you used to download files. You used to type in like Roll Deep set or a Slimzy set, and you'd wait like 3 days to download it. And then you get it, and it'd be like a video of like Rick Astley going, "Never gonna keep you up," and it's like, not again.
People don't understand the investment, even in stealing. Stealing was an investment. You would set it to download and come back days later, like you say, and find that you've been played.
Yeah, you've been played. Rick Astley's got you again.
Or worse, like me, where I downloaded stuff and they were all labelled wrong. And it was a lot of old soul black artists, obviously. So like Aretha Franklin's just the same as Etta James. They're all the same person. They'd put any name. So I've grown up being like, yeah, that classic Aretha Franklin song, Stormy Weather. And it's like, you idiot. Yeah. It set me up to look like a fool.
Yeah. No, it's bad. But then I remember through this process of pirating, ended up getting like this Slimzy, Dizzy Rascal and Slimzy set, and he's just like classic Dizzy bars, like, yo guy, roll deep on these, put these MCs on deep freeze, come like Musto, we flip these, old school, Afro dry white knees, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like listening to this guy thinking, at this point I've already met Chimpo and stuff, like I'm going around to this gaff in like Wally Range. No, like that happened slightly after, but there's loads of people from that gaff that I'm just like meeting up with. I'm like having freestyles in Manly Park with some of my elders, and they're like, yo, you can rap, you know. I'm like, what's rapping? I don't know what that is. All I know is when the beat's on, that shit gets murdered, son. Do you know what I mean? And like,
so you were humble from early beginnings.
Yeah, man, still to this day, you know. There's no humbler. But yeah, so then I remember that Dizzy Rascal thing really making an impression on me, because it was like, how is this guy like saying so much but saying so little? Because at 140 BPM, you're not, yo, the Muffatopolis, the Chopolis, the Topolis, they try and topple this. You're not doing any of that jazz. Do you know what I mean? You just literally have to go bang, 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 bang. You know what I mean? And then if you're good, you've spoken about Mephistopheles at the top of these, and you know what I mean, and the philosophies, you know what I mean. So, and Dizzy Rascal did that for me, and that made me want to go. That made me want to write something, and like be concise with my summary of a point. And I think that's like that's you know, apart from like, I think kitchen table music. Yeah. I think outside of that, that is the first notable thing or process that happened, which is still stuck with me now. Yeah. That's something I admire in other writers, like to be able to like paint several worlds with what might be considered half a sentence. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I hope that wasn't too long.
No. Listen, you don't. I'm in charge of what time scale we're on. It's fine. You say what you want to say. Yeah. So how long? Because obviously you're a lot of the beginning of and a lot of what I was speaking about when I was introducing you is that you are first and foremost a live performer. So how has that been from translating things that, in a way, yeah, I get it, because when I've done the MCing thing, I'm like, oh, I've just written a banger, and then like, we're on to the next tune, I've forgotten it, erased, gone. Yeah. So how was that going from spitting bars that are just live and direct and, you know, occasionally recorded in live sets, but how does it go from immortalizing something to recording something for good?
Yeah, that was a proper weird...
Spacebar, I'll freak out. Please come back.
Ding, 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 ding.
Sorry, answer the question. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So going from live to putting things down permanently and studio.
Do you know what? It wasn't the most... it wasn't as odd of a process as it seemed. And I always say this, like, with the whole grime thing, it's like, you know, a lot of us in Manchester were writing lyrics just for the set. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you didn't know when the set was going to be. You know, like, we'd literally be travelling from postcode to postcode and sometimes other cities just to rap, just to spit a lyric. Do you know what I mean? And then if your lyric was, like, sick, you get a reload off the DJ. Yeah. Sometimes you knew the DJ, sometimes you didn't know the DJ, but that was it, you know what I mean? So it wasn't like people were recording the lyrics onto tunes and then putting them onto SoundCloud or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It was like literally you're writing a lyric book full of lyrics just so you can show up to the youth club or whatever, shell it down on a range of beats, and then if you get the reload, or if the set's recorded, that's the best you could hope for. It's immortalised. Then the set would fly around. People would put, lime wire or whatever.
3 days later.
Yeah, 3 days later, I'm like, that's not Chunks.
It's Aretha Franklin.
Yeah, it's Aretha Franklin. But it's that. So I think it's just that kind of mentality is that helps. That helped really, because then when it came to situations where it was like, write a lyric, it's like, yeah, I do that all the time. And it's like, oh, have you got a lyric for this? It's like, well, what tempo is it? It's like, right, okay, because I was doing, I was freestyling the hip hop stuff anyway, so I didn't, I was never scared. I was like, whatever, bro, just give me a topic, give me a topic. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't scared of that, and I was writing a load of grime things anyway. So when it did come time to like record something and put something down, there was plenty to work with. And there's plenty to work from. And then that kind of, people would like, because when you're young and people see you've got like a gift, they want to help facilitate that. So I'd have like Chimpo and like DRS. I'd always be in the studio with them, and then they like bring a beat out and be like, yo, why don't you put something on this, Chunks? I'm like, oh, no, I don't know, I'm not ready yet, oh, God.
And then do it straight away.
And then just do it, you know what I mean? I remember in Wally Range, there's this house called Grosvenor, where a load of like, that's where I met like Broken English properly, and like a load of musicians would go, like Dean Knowles and obviously Chimpos and whatever, and I remember at the time JSD from Virus Syndicate was, his partner lived in the room next door to my mate Gore's, Gore, Dark Horse, who's an amazing lyricist, and like people would ask me like, who's your favorite rapper? And like, it wasn't any of this, I like the American stuff, but it's never spoke to me as well, do you know what I mean? But like Jay had done that Mancunian tune. It's like Wally Range, Moss Side, OT, 11's unit alongside, and he's basically, the tune is just him bigging up all the different areas in Manchester. Like, yo, this shit's crazy, son. You know what I mean? And like, so they'd ask me like, who's your favorite rapper? Like, oh, have you heard of this guy JSD? And they're like, oh, he lives next door. I'm like, what? Yeah. That's crazy. So then Jay comes back off tour, and I'm putting the same lyrics on like loads of different beats, because I'm like, which one's the right one? So I still remember, like, it's like, and this Chunks, I'm crazy. I smoke weed till my eyes go hazy. I smoke weed till my mouth goes dry and my head starts spinning and my lip goes lazy. Which is actually what happens when you smoke the reefer. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, obviously.
I've never smoked anything.
And that's why I wrote lyrics like that, to teach the people,
Yeah, it's really good for me to know what smoking weed's like.
Yeah, I mean.
So fast forward to making music. Like putting down the instrumentals, like starting to engage with producing. Yeah. How soon did that happen?
Took a very, very long time. I mean, that's what I'm saying. With that tangent there, I went on there. It's like when Jake come back off tour, I was putting these lyrics on. And what made me more committed to a final version of these songs was the fact that JSD, who was like Biggie to me at the time, you know what I mean? He's come in the room, and I'm like, yo, can you do the ad-libs on my tune? And Jay's like, yeah, sure, man. So like, I'm like, I'm Chunks, I'm crazy. He's like, crazy. Yeah. Hazy. And I'm like, yo, this shit is sick, you know what I mean? So that then, obviously, you move forward and you keep going, and people are like, jump on this tune, and Del's like, yo, DRS is like, yo, I've produced you like 8, 9 tracks, listen to them, pick something, vocal something, and I, come in with all these ideas for different things, but then just kind of whatever. So then it gets to a later stage where I'm doing, the raves, the different raves, and I'm doing Hit and Run, and then I get exposed to True Tiger through Hit and Run, and True Tiger were the first people to take me out of the city. Basically, I had to learn how to get trains on my own, and like getting trains for an hour and a half in the wrong direction just to get back, and it's like run off the train with 5 minutes, and like all that kind of stuff. But then I'd be sat in a lot of like production sessions with them.
Yeah. Soaking it up or being...
Yeah, I mean, annoying, yes, definitely.
Good, of course you were being annoying, but...
Goes without
we
saying.
all are in the studio in the early days, but because sometimes we sit there and we're like, this isn't for me, and we don't even engage with what's happening on the screen and stuff, but you felt comfortable and you were watching what was going on. And
I mean, the thing is, like, with Grosvenor, I've been in those situations anyway where people are, like, trying to produce for me or producing for other people, or we're having ciphers, you know, which is, like, I guess play, isn't it, in the broader sense, where we're just messing around with stuff that then gets put down at some point, even if it's not by me at that stage. So, like, the True Tiger thing, like, Suck will be making tunes, and, like, that was, like, dubstep was on the rise as well. So, like, which is such a big thing for me, because people were like, oh, you weren't there when Jungle happened, you know what I mean? You'll never know, and it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's funny, that kind of gatekeeping, isn't it? It makes you more determined to really, like, carve yourself a name when your time comes around and there's something that's happening that's very, like, present.
Yeah.
Because you were around a lot of people. You were around, like, I mean, various people.
Yeah, I mean...
making it.
Cutma, that was even later. That was Hoya Hoya days. But, like, do you know, I think it's, like, generationally, every generation or group of people has their thing that they cut their teeth with. So, like, when you're around a lot, like, Manchester is a drum and bass and jungle city. There's no two ways about it. Do you know what I mean? It's a big contributor in the whole history of that. You know, you've got Solution, Marcus Intellect, who, you know, God rest his soul. Like, Marcus would take time to come and speak to all of us, whether you made techno, whether you made, like, whatever you made. If your shit was good, Marcus would come and he'd find you somewhere in the back of a club and he'd go, you saw that EP? And you're like, yeah. Like, pretty good, that. And you're like, shit, that. What? And like, nice one. And like, I didn't even think you'd be paying attention. So, like, you know, I maintain anyway Manchester's a drum and bass city. So being exposed to that, they were like, yeah, but Jungle, the Hacienda Phenomenon 1, Phenomenon 2, Phenomenon 3. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then so then when dubstep came, it was like, oh shit, this is our thing. Yeah. You know, I mean, this is our thing. This
is that when you started making?
Yeah, with True Tiger, yeah, because I'm sat next to Suck Knight, who's in True Tiger, well, who is in True Tiger, and he's like made Cop Killer, and it's like, you know, like, I don't know if anybody knows anything about dubstep, but Cop Killer is like a serious one. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to put dubstep tunes in there, people always like play Digital Mystics or whatever, but there's loads of things that get missed out the
blueprint of it.
Yeah,
it's
like,
definitely part of the blueprint.
Cop Killer is definitely bang, 100%. Do you know what I mean? So I'm sat there, I'm watching Suck, and he's giving it waffle, 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 and I'm thinking, I can fucking do that shit. Yeah! That doesn't look hard. Do you know what I mean? But then you sit down and you try and do it yourself, and you're like, all right, okay, this takes time. So like, I'd probably say around 2009, like, I was already messing around with stuff because just to make me Dukes happy, I went to college. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't like a resounding failure. But then, so like, I knew a little bit about it, but that had kind of segued me into more live performance. Yeah. But then sitting down with Suck is like, I can do this, I can give this a go. And Suck's like sat down and he's sharing like, right, if you put the delay on double, you can make the sound wider. Yeah. And then all this kind of stuff. I'm like, oh shit, that sounds heavy, bro. Like,
you're big on your production techniques.
Yeah, I mean, I try.
I hear them when I listened. I hear what I recognize. I mean, you know, and it's like, yes, I hear all the production techniques you do from listening to it. I'm not like that. I'm like, oh, that's that and that's that. But there's some elements of it that I hear, and I hear like a, because with you, you're such a chameleon of like what's going on genre-wise, which we'll talk about. Yeah. So it's interesting to try and pin down, as one does, a sort of common thread or like a kind of style underneath it all. And I think the only thing I can find that's ever consistent in any way is your experimenting with production techniques.
Yeah.
And I said today, well, we both said that you very much like to take production techniques that are very rigidly apparently from this genre. Yeah. Because I do think there's so much gatekeeping in electronic music, especially. It's like, this goes, and I hear it being discussed that this technique belongs to this kind of house, or this technique belongs to this kind of dubstep. But you very much like taking one and putting it elsewhere and kind of actively, I mean, you're a rule breaker, I know that.
Smash it all up.
You see a rule and you drop kick it.
Yeah, what's that, a rule? You know what I mean? No, but go on.
I worry about what would happen if you met Ja Rule.
If I met Ja Rule,
because he's a rule.
You get broken.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for me, it's like interesting to hear you, and this is also that word here with which is all about dissecting and deconstructing.
Yeah.
So the deconstruction of these and where these techniques are supposed to belong, and then where you take them.
Yeah.
Where do you think that comes? Is that very conscious, or is that something that just?
I think it is. I think it is. I think it is a choice. Do you know what I mean? There is purpose in that choice, because being exposed to so many different things. It's like you're saying there, like with some genres, that technique is what makes that genre. Do you know what I mean? That's why it's got a name. So like when you're looking at things like fidget house, you know what I mean, and like those LFOs, it's like that. Without that specific technique of production, you wouldn't have that specific genre. But it doesn't mean you couldn't borrow from fidget house and then make like, you know, a trip hop tune with what's the what's the word I'm looking for? With the
like the same approach.
Yeah, right, but with like some of the with the rules of it, you know what I mean? Same approach, whatever, you know. Semantics. But yeah, so like that's just something that's interesting to me, and trying as well, because I think creating is science. You know what I mean? And science is experiments and hypotheses, do you know what I mean? And it's only when you like, oh shit, I've made, paracetamol. Do you know what I mean? I didn't know I was gonna make that. I was trying to make dishwashing liquid, but I made this thing. It's like, oh, what? You don't feel pain? Wicked. Take 3 of those. Let's see what happens.
Your dishes are filthy.
Yeah, but your dishes are filthy, but you're not in pain. You know what I mean? So, and I think like you go through that process, and then it sticks. So like. I mean, for me, no aspersions on no one, but for me, if I'm making the same beat all the time, and I'm sampling in the same way all the time, I mean, how many? It's not experimenting then, is it? Do you know what I mean? I mean, it could be. I mean, there's pockets where you are, but ultimately, I guess it's a sliding scale, isn't it? Because you're working within a structure, and it's just where's your pockets of play. You know what I mean? And based on the things I've experienced and the things that I know, it's like that's where I want to experiment. I'm like, yo, like, what if this kick does that thing, or what is this? What about this time signature with that other thing from that thing? See what happens. You know what I mean? And if it doesn't, sometimes it just sounds like wrong until you put a lyric on it. Then you're like, wow.
It ties it together.
Yeah, like there's so many people, like even like Skittles, that's my brother, like you listen to Skittles' music, you're like, oh, this is phenomenal. But I've listened to Skittles' music before he's put the lyrics on, and I'm like, yo, this beat's like
whack.
It's a whack beat, bro. You know what I mean? Like, but after he puts his lyrics on them,
yeah, it makes sense.
It don't sound whack. It sounds like, yo, I need to produce something like that. You know what I mean? I need to make something that good. But it's like, well, I listened to it for 6 months before I vocaled it, and it wasn't.
Yeah, and then it gets really difficult. Can we talk about that? Because I'm in that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm in that stage now. I'm in a position where there's a track I've heard too much. I've heard it so many times, but now it has to be completed, and it needs vocals on it. But I just feel like do you have any tips for me on when you've overheard an instrumental? Now it's the first vocals you put down were what can only be described as hot garbage. And you've had to delete those, but you can't delete the residue of hot garbage. It's like a stain
It lingers.
where the garbage was.
Yeah.
So how do I get past that?
Do you know what? Like, people are, I'm from a different way of thinking, because people are like, yo, if you don't finish that tune in a session, sack it off, move on.
I don't believe
Do you know what I mean? And I think there's something to that as well, like being able to, like, I think people say kill your babies, which I
can't see that offending anyone.
Yeah, no, it's, I didn't say it, but like, people, it's about being able to let go, basically. You know what I mean? It's about being able to let go.
Well, I thought that, but then I've had this tune kicking about this other one that I didn't care about, and I took all the heat off myself. Yeah. And what I did, some people have been here before, I just listened to it while I'm washing up or doing something else, and suddenly I started singing this line. I was like, that's been it for the last 4 years. That has been the top line, for fuck's sake. Yeah. So...
But sometimes you need to do that, and it's like, I was speaking to my mum, I think it was even yesterday or the day before, and like, she's an academic, so she's like, right, I want to stand up when I'm doing my work. And I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, because if I stand up when I'm writing a lyric,
circulation,
that the blood going through your legs makes you have more ideas in your head, which is wild. Whereas loads of people just sit down, like, obviously you might sit down and like smoke a spliff. Yeah, you might do that and like hope for the ideas, but that
we don't do drugs. Cameras.
What?
We don't do drugs.
No, not.
We do. Come on, it's fine. Carry on. Standing up, circulation. Sitting down,
circulation. That is literally everything, and that's where the ideas come from, and that's why like going on like long walks in the sunset will probably help you write music quicker than thinking about it. But then also there's something to be said for just like getting up, having a little walk round, turning the mic on, pressing record, closing your eyes.
Screaming.
Yeah, and just
going for it.
Yeah, sending something that way.
So like, what is it, stream of consciousness stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Because like, you'd be surprised how little shit you chat when you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that.
And that's when you come back to something and you go, geez, I didn't even know I wrote that. Yeah. At the time I thought I was writing this and this and this, but that shit's kind of profound. Like, I didn't. And then you're like, well, that wasn't me, because I'm a gobshite.
And that's Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's the universe. Like, something is speaking through me. It's like, you'd be surprised at how little shit you chat when you're not paying attention. You know what I mean?
That's great advice. Thank you.
So I'd say just run at it.
Stream of consciousness. I'll send it to you in the morning. I'll do it as a voice note.
Yeah.
Really loved seeing you last night. Something you said to me this morning resonates with this as well. You said that, and I wrote it down, so I'll read it awkwardly like this. No, it's only a tiny sentence. I really shouldn't have done that and big that up. You talked about surprising yourself musically. Yeah. You were saying that sometimes you played it to other artists and they'd like kind of been like taken back by your choices, but you had said, well, no, I don't always want to. You said also that you don't want constant noise.
Yes.
That you like to have moments of silence. And I asked if that was because you wanted to draw attention to maybe the discomfort of silence.
Yes.
But you said no.
Yeah. I mean, that was the conversation was around that, wasn't it? It was about I played some tunes to Steve Julian, Funkin' Even, and I was around at his and I was like playing this tune, and then the breakdown came and he's just gone and there's like just like this like reverb tail. But there's no like, like background, like anything like this, yeah. And he stopped and he went, bro. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, you can't just have silence. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Because to me, that's not just silence, there's a reverb tail. But I know so many producers who will make a tune, slide a bit of like vinyl noise in there or birds in the background or a cityscape or whatever it is. And I know that's like I've done it myself, you know what I mean? But yeah, like that was kind of the first moment I realized like that silence in music, it brings like this awkward tension for some people. And And then reading about it, it's like it's actually a thing. Do you know what I mean? But that wasn't like, for me, that wasn't a purposeful. It's never been a purposeful thing. If I go, this bit shouldn't have anything in it, I just feel like that. But it's not so that I can. It's not purposefully to make people feel awkward or any type of tension.
What you decide the narrative of this track requires. It's the narrative for you, right? In this, this is your narrative first and foremost.
Yeah, that's
interesting. So do you feel like that is a big motivational force in what you make? Because you said, and I really love that you said that, is that I want to make. I'm always trying to surprise myself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think I'm always trying to, and this is what I mean about picking up things that you've made. You know, there's some projects that I'll open that I started like 4 or 5 years ago, because 4 or 5 years ago I wasn't as competent as I am now. So like that idea can go to so many different places. Yeah. Whereas, you know, when I was making it 4 or 5 years ago, I was like, yo, bang, this is sick. This is going to be like this. And then getting to a place where I don't know how to progress this. Do you know what I mean? It's like, right, it's fine. Just put it in the pot and let it simmer for a bit and then come back later. Do you know what I mean?
Cooking reference, I like
That's it, man. Yeah. Chefing styles.
Let it simmer. I've noticed that Logic's opened.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going to do with it, really.
What's open now, and what will this highlight of your production? We need to... It's not on the screen behind you, though.
No, but I think I've not put it to...
I think that's what that panto was.
Is that...
Drag it up,
it's doing some mirroring stuff, but I don't know what it's... I don't know what this is, by the way. It could
something else now. Something else is loaded. But if there is anything that you want to open, that maybe a little snippet into one of the tracks from your album.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Everything's got weird names as well.
Well, everything's called Bang Dash, which I love.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
What happened?
I have no idea.
We spent all that time of it loading.
I know.
No. Press spacebar. Scream at it.
What's happened there?
Yeah,
that's
okay,
weird,
that's
isn't it?
That's mad. Have we knocked something?
Maybe.
Maybe
the charger.
No, the charger's in.
No, but I don't know. I have no idea. These computer things are just
I think
crazy.
basically it loading Logic was more than the battery had.
Yeah, but the battery didn't even charge, man.
Right, so Logic came so close, but, you know, technology, we don't need it, only for making the music we're talking about. But, you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, I'm just going to ask you straight up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you always start a track the same way, or do they start different ways? Like, what do you start with? Because I start with chords and the will to survive, and then like a little bit of like,
yeah.
And then lots of nonsense. I sing lots of nonsense at the top because I don't do the lyrics first. Sometimes it comes first.
Yeah.
But I'll shape a little bit of melody. How do you start a track on the whole, or is it different every time?
I mean, I think, it's different every time. Definitely, different every time. So, like, there's a track on the album called LNS, which is Long and Strong.
Sick.
That was a lyric first type jam.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I was in the shower, I was feeling the shit, you know what I mean? I was like, in there, I was like, you know what I mean? Like a proper Ghani fructis advert, you know what I mean? It's like, and I was thinking,
hair coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's nowhere. Like, I'll have what she's having. Do you know what I mean? But it was like, I was in the shower and I was like washing my hair and I was like, fucking hell, that's long, man. And I was thinking about L'Oreal kids, we're worth it too. And like Ghani fructus and like all these like kiwis and shit just like falling, like cascading, you know what I mean?
Tropical birds, like
exactly.
handing you your flannel.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
do you know what I mean? And I thought, and I'm just like, whatever, in that zone. And then I'm like, you know, my hair is long and my hair is strong. And I'm like, yo. And I was just in there for about probably 5 minutes longer than I should have been in a shower for. And I had it just there and it was rocking, do you know what I mean? And so then when I came out the shower, it was like I need a beat for that. You know what I mean? It's like, what do I hear? So then I go into the studio, and out of all the beats, that's probably one of the ones that like got knocked together the quickest. It was like, right, get that sound. You know what I mean? Get like a solid bass in there. Like, people say wonky. I don't try and make wonky drums, but it just ends up that way. Just like,
It's your aesthetic.
You know what I mean?
That's what you like.
That's what I like. That's my shit.
That's what you like.
Yeah, that's my shit. And then, so that was like lyric first, definitely. But then, a tune like Yes I. So Yes I was definitely very much like that pad that all the music was first. It was like yo, like I was like, yo, shit, this is emotive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I can feel things. What's that? Yes I. You can play Yes I. Yeah, if you like, yeah. No, but you've all heard it though, innit? Because you've all streamed the album, right?
Who wants to know if Chunky has housemates and if he went straight from the shower to the studio in front of them? I do. There's a whole part of that story that we didn't hear.
You omitted bits.
I need a beat.
Yeah. From that
aux chord that I've really got in for.
So that bit. It's like, yo, I feel shit, like. I feel shit, you know what I mean? And then the drums kind of just like accent it's not like to take over and be like big drum solo. No. You know what I mean? It's just like...
You use a lot of Foley as well, which I want to talk about.
Yeah.
Hope you're getting my best side. Yes, I. From Central South on the West Side. Yes, I. No, I ain't got it, but I'll make time. Breadline. Only so much I can let slide. Better take time. Hope you're getting my best side. Yes, I. From Central South on the West Side. Yes, I.
Get a slow
no,
fade.
I ain't got it, but I'll make time.
Sweet. Slow fade. And then this is like long and strong. And it's mad with this, like all the...
These are the birds in the Garni advert.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But that's like, all that stuff is like, all the like dub sirens and shit, that's me, man. And I was like, ooh, like,
nice.
You know what I mean? And like, I did like some mad stuff where I set up microphones in the front room and like, for the backing vocals and shit. Like.
My hair is long and my hair is strong. Hair is long and my hair
That's literally like, that's literally me shouting from the stairs with a microphone in the front room. Like some Paul Riviera shit, you know, like some Beastie Boys type shit, yeah? And I've got the microphones there and I'm like in the corridor like, and I'm like, you know, eventually just like put the vocals together and it's like, right, that sounds like a choir or a chorus or whatever. But you can hear the beats like...
So this is you singing?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Black so we girl from 90 no long. Black so we girl from 90 no long. Not a one Delilah could test this Samson. Not a one Delilah could test this Samson. Cause my...
Whoa,
Yeah. Don't like that one. Turn that
Stop.
shit off. Yeah.
Scenes of nudity. Stop it.
Yeah.
I've seen it 3 times now. I know your password. It's over. I'm going to message everyone.
There's like, this is the singy one. This is like...
I love you singing. I love it. I wasn't
right.
entirely sure if it was you singing.
It's getting better. My old man, yeah, my stepdad, he's always been like, you've got a wonderful singing voice, Craig.
I do.
And I'm like, shut up, man. But, yeah.
I say I love you. I hope you know I mean it. You say you trust me. I don't believe it.
This is my favourite, by the way.
I say I love you.
Daylight.
You don't believe it.
I'll say why.
You say you trust me. I hope you mean it. Daylight's on you, baby. Daylight's on you, baby. Daylight's Daylight's on you, baby. Daylight's on you, baby. Every time I touch you, I feel your secrets. Like when you ask me, what's with the leaving?
Fade out.
You caught me clumsy.
Yeah.
Smash that slow fade.
I love that song, and I have to say that for me, I felt there's like a vulnerability to that track that I've never heard from you before. And I think that, rolling your eyes, you don't like it, but I'm saying it. But I think that this is it with the album, and obviously I read a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
And it is that seeing all the shades to what's to you as an artist and you as a person. See?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, that's what it does, yeah.
Yeah. They kicked it over. That wasn't an accident.
Yeah.
They said, no, forget this.
Yeah.
Forget it.
I mean, what's interesting about that song is it sounds like a love song, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Kind of.
But what, I know you're never supposed to give it away or whatever, but that song is just about relationships.
Yeah.
And like, not necessarily even like with your partner.
One specific one, yeah.
Yeah, it's not one specific one. It's like, what's it like? I never call you. I'm scared that I'll bore you. Do you know what I mean? I don't call you because what can I offer you? You know what I mean? Like imposter shit. Like I never call you. Scared that I'll bore you. I have nothing for you, but want some more you. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, I got enough, what can I do? But I definitely just want to spend some time and like whatever, do you know what I mean? But then that's, I guess it is like vulnerability or whatever, but I think people feel uncomfortable saying things like that, even if it's not necessarily about them. Whereas I guess for me, like one of the most vulnerable ones was like probably Give You, do you know what I mean? Which is like obviously heavily, it's a conversation with my mum, do you know what I mean? The track's it's not like, yo, this is my mother tune, do you know what I'm saying? But it ends up being like that because it's so heavily based around that interaction. But like I remember being in the studio and being like, they should carve an ocean and lake in the shape of your face. This ain't your song, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I remember saying that line in the studio like 15 times. Yeah. And like getting choked up and just being like, ocean, you deserve ocean. Do you know what I mean? And even when I got it out, I was like, we're mixing it with Metrodome. I got it out. I'm like, yo, what do you think? Do you think that line sits? Or like, is it sharp? Is it on the beat? And he's just like, yeah, man, that sounds fine. But to me, it will forever sound a little bit off because of how I felt and how vulnerable I felt, like letting that out. Do you know what I mean? Just kind of going like, yo, like, basically to my mum and being like, yo, bro, you killed it, fam. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
she certainly did.
Yeah, she killed it,
She did.
Yeah, man. So that's probably where I felt the most vulnerable on the whole album. Whereas the rest of it's like, I don't. As you know, I don't mind like wearing my heart on my sleeve.
Yeah,
kind of
but I
thing.
think it's how you present your heart on your sleeve, and I think for you, when rap is like the first and foremost thing, I think it's not a small thing to just start to sing, because singing is like a different side, and I know there's quite whether we like to we don't need to go down this road, but there's like very macho ideals in a lot of the worlds that you are in, and I think that singing is something that you get a female vocalist in to do or something, you know what I mean? Like as a rapper, like a lot of rappers are not comfortable going there, even if they can sing.
Yeah.
And I think the vulnerability, even in how you present it, is really important as well for you to have made that decision to be like, nah, I'm singing this.
Yeah.
So I think it's also the lyrical content, but also how you decided to present that.
Yeah, how to go for it. And I was saying this the other day to Bex, Bex who works at the White Hotel.
Yes.
So
I remember a blur that is Bex because every time I'm there, I'm just drinking.
Yeah. Amazing. Subtext. Now I was saying to Bex at White Hotel the other day, I was saying rap music is the only music in the world that is sold with persona. And it's the craziest thing. It's like, have a think about it. And if I'm wrong, come back to me and I'll back my argument. But no, for real, it's like it's the only music that's sold with persona. It doesn't happen with country music or indie music or, you know, even Afrobeat. Like, you know, if you wear matching African cloth costumes, people will buzz, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they don't need you to do it. Sorry. Toilet users. No, but that's it. Like, whereas rap, it's like, it doesn't matter what you wear. If you act like what a rapper's supposed to act like,
you've ticked the box.
People might not even listen to your music. Yeah. They'll just be like, he's a rapper, and it's like, why? Because he's acting in a certain way, and it's like, it's just a weird thing. I mean, obviously, being like having produced electronic music for a long time, DJ'd, you know, what some call techno, what some people call bass, or a wide range of music for a long time. It's like now I've put out this project as an artist where I guess the vocal contribution is like rap. It's kind of like, where does this sit? Yeah. What is the expectation on it? You know what I mean? So like the electronic world was like, oh yeah, you know, like I'm fortunate, I'm blessed enough to have a little stake in there. Yeah. So people are like, oh yes, Chunks, come and sit down and share what you're sharing. But in the rap way of it, because I don't carry myself like how a lot of rappers do, it ends up being like people don't know. People don't know where to put it and how to place it, because like maybe I've not got grills on, maybe I've not. It's not even about grills. It's just about that kind of rap persona. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, he's got good lyrics. You know what I mean? Whereas it's like any other genre of music, you know, someone could come and sit up here with a guitar and be like, what is scummy, man? Do you know what I mean? They could like literally do that, and it doesn't matter. Like, those indie guys don't have to put on leather jackets to sell tickets. You know what I mean? Whereas a rapper has to, yo, this, what? You know what I mean? That is crazy to me. Why is, you know, there's no other genre in the world like it.
No, but there's real benefit from knowing it and not entirely having one foot in that camp and having like multiple,
Yeah, and
but then the electronic world's the other way around, isn't it? Where they, on the whole, no offense to people making electronic music, including myself. You know who you are. You don't respect vocalists sometimes. Valentine. The vocal thing is like it's just a given. You come in, it's like, put a vocal on this. Thank you, goodbye. It's not, the lyricism isn't always cared about that much, and like quite the opposite of rap in the sense of like lyricism is still a thing.
In rap, if you rap on a tune and somebody cuts your lyric, there's gonna be a war.
A problem.
You know what I mean? Whereas in electronic music,
it's expected.
Yeah, you go there and you go. You go do, and they go, oh yeah, I finished that tune we were working on, and you listen to it, it's like. And it's like, oh, wicked, featuring P. Roberts, you're like,
you're joking.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Is that a feature?
So it is like wildly different levels of respect for vocals, especially, and lyricism. Yeah. And I've always struggled with that. Yeah. To go from live music to electronic, where you're treated like this sample pack seems to be speaking back to me in a meeting. Like, it's like, oh, okay. So it's kind of mad, and I really respect how you've navigated both of those worlds. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, because I'm conscious of time. Yeah. If you were to give advice to someone's going on the journey that you went on, or maybe even give advice to yourself. Oh my, I like this one. Oh God. What would
I've tried this before. Okay. Someone said, write a letter to your younger self. I couldn't do it.
No, we're not going to make you write a letter. No. We've only got, that biro's only got a little bit of ink in it anyway. Yeah.
Don't think you got enough
if you
paper.
Were to give like a standout top one or two pieces of advice for yourself on this journey, especially in production, even if it's like what we call a very technical kind of piece of advice, like don't sample before you can compress, whatever. I don't know why I said that. I don't care about compression.
That's so good.
I don't care about compression.
I feel like
Don't
that
ever
should
try
have been
and
in
talk to me
Lord of
about
the
it.
Rings.
Yeah, innit? Do not compress. You shall not low pass.
Yeah.
But I got a musical production joke and a Lord of the Rings joke in
You
at the same
smashed
time.
that. You smashed that.
That's a bucket list. So yeah, what would your advice be? Whether it be technical or whether it just be outlook?
Production. From production standpoint.
Yeah, advice for production. Like, would have saved you a lot of time early on, or something that you maybe, you know.
For me personally.
Yeah, for yourself at circa age 19, 20, whenever you kind of started.
I probably would have been like, listen, they're all using drum machines. That's what I would have like, cause I didn't know, you know, when I started producing like on Swamp, I didn't know that it was all 808s. Now, even though I was getting around with a T-shirt that said 808 727 909, I didn't know because I'd not been exposed to it. Obviously, like grime has got like 808s in it, but all that kind of stuff, it's like sample packs. Like I've never been in a studio with a grime producer and then pull out a Roland 808. Do you know what I mean? And go. Do you know what I mean? I've never. That's never happened. Do you know what I mean? So by the time you start getting to like things like Swamp and like being exposed to things like techno and whatnot, you're like, why does it sound like that? It's got this unique texture and like it's kind of future, but like, you know, listen to a lot of the artist formerly known as Ramadan Man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like piercing sound. It's all right. Yeah,
it landed that
Thank
one.
you.
Big
time. You know what I mean? You're like, this stuff sounds dead future, whereas I didn't know. So then when I've then started producing my own tunes, I'm trying to make sounds and like bend toms and congas and 808 cowbells. Like a lot of like the music in my music is 808 cowbells because I like distort them, stretch them, resample them, turn them into guitars, turn them into pianos. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, sick.
Like that stuff came from drum machines, but I didn't know it was that simple. And I think if I would have known, it would have meant the tunes that I would have written more tunes quicker, but I'd probably have less of an individual sound aesthetic. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, which one do you? But I definitely would tell myself. I'd be like, listen.
Cut the cue. Yeah.
They're using drum machines.
Yeah.
This is what drum machines are. Do you know what I mean? And then giving myself the choice to carry on down the path that I did. Do you know what I mean? Because after it got to a certain point, I'm in the studio with Zed and that, like, why don't you just use this drum kit or use? I'm like, nah, like I'm like 5 or 6 years deep. Do you know what I mean? Like I might as well see it through and make a whole universe with it, not just dance music, but you know, this is before the album.
Soundscape
but
and everything.
like vocal beds. You know, like I've produced for other artists and like incorporated my my sonic palette into that. Do you know what I mean? And people wouldn't even know, but it's like.
What do you mean by vocal bed, just in general?
Something purpose built for vocals to go on it.
So like a chain as well. So what, like we're talking like effects and stuff, or
no, like
you've already done the vocals.
No, like before I was making like club music.
Yeah.
Which is like obviously you know. Yeah. And then which I still do. I love that stuff, but I think with the album or years before the album came about, it was like I'm gonna use this palette to try and make instrumentals.
Right,
like a bed for the vocal, you know what I mean?
Okay,
it's like it might be rap, or it might be someone might be singing on it, or someone might come and do a solo with like insert instrument here. Do you know what I mean? Whatever. And it's like,
sick. Sorry, I'm nosy. I wanted to ask.
No, it's right. I think that's what CDR is about. You know what I mean?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Because they're filming this and they might be livid.
Yeah, it is today. Well, tell them to shout me.
Yeah. Amazing. I'm going to open it up to the floor if you don't mind. Some general questions. We have some really attractive little mobile microphones, as modelled by Lee over there. Do that little maraca shake again. Yeah. Cuban Pete. So, thank you for knowing what I meant. So, if anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and you'll be passed a delightful microphone. If not, I'll just keep asking questions.
Go on, Alice.
At the
Go
back.
on.
Yes, Lucy.
Right.
Blessings.
It's mostly like a writing question.
Yeah.
When you like sit down with an instrumental and try to write, do you write like flow first or content, lyrics first?
It depends. It depends if it's like. I think if it's like a rap, you know what I mean? That's the easiest way of describing that, isn't it? If it's like a rap, it's probably going to be both at the same time. Like it's very much like statements of intention. Do you know what I mean? So, like stepped in. This is the one I've been working on like for a bit. It's like stepped in, made it deliberate. I can't plan on begging forgiveness. Said he's illiterate. Now who's electric? Came like now you expected. You said it sounded a Western. Do you know what I mean? Like all those to me are statements of intention. Like stepped in, made it deliberate. I can't plan on begging forgiveness. Said he's illiterate. Now who's electric? You know what I mean? It's like all these are, but writing it is like it all as it. You know, the rhythm and the rhyme and the pattern is part of just the natural flow of it. You know what I mean? Whereas if it's like a singing one, I'm more likely just to you know what I mean? And then come back and like it's like fill the words in, you know what I mean? And when I'm filling the words in, then the melody or the line might change. Because now it's subject to how my mouth is moving and what's trying to come out there. Whereas with the rap, it like the flow has to follow what I'm saying. And if what I'm saying needs to change, you know, you said it sounded Western out on a session. I'm not around for a second. You know what I mean? Like if it needs to change. Because of what I'm saying is more important than the do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people will, in my opinion, and that's no aspersions, in my opinion, a lot of people will chat shit for the sake of the flow, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think like that's not a place I'm in. Like every path is a path. That's just not the path for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like content over flow instead of flow over content. Like saying what you need to say. It's more important than saying nothing in a nice way. Yeah.
That's it. 100%. If you need to knock down if you need to knock down the barriers in front of you to say the thing. Because saying the thing is, it's just that's what it's about. You know, like you could have that rhythm with a high synth melody or a bass line or your hi-hats or any percussive element in the tune. But once you're saying something, that's the point of it, for me anyway, do you know what I mean? And there's loads of music that I listen to where it's like, this person is not saying anything whatsoever, but I like how it bounces, so I'll put it on, but I'm never taking that shit seriously. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not sat there like, yo, I need to play this to my little cousins, man. They're going to learn some shit from this. You know what I mean? I'm just like, put that tune on. Ooh. Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of like, it's like automatically the things belong in two different spaces for me.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I find that, sorry, I'm kind of going on, but
Don't
I find
sorry.
that like with club stuff, like stuff that's like more focused, club focused, it becomes harder to say what you want to say. It's harder to like prioritize content over flow because of like the needs of whoever's going to be listening to it.
The raver.
Dance, and then also like, you know, it's just harder to fit that stuff into like 160 or whatever.
100%. I agree with you. I think 160 is like a bit of an interesting, you know, like the music that you make. Yeah, as a fan and an avid listener. Yeah, the music that you make has the space for you to say what you need to say on it. But that's why it's left off center some would describe it as. You know what I mean? Like we're like little electronic weirdos. You know what I mean? Like we want to do the thing. But then I think if you were doing like, you know, Teletext style 150, 160, like, you know what I mean? That's that music is determined by the elements in it. Same with like techno, a similar style with garage or drum and bass. You know, these are musics where you have to fit what you're saying into. You can't interrupt that groove. You know what I mean? And like what is also testament to that is the fact that even if you put a vocal on that tune, you will do your vocal bit, and there'll be a section just as long as your vocal bit that follows your vocal bit to allow the consumers of that specific music to stay in the groove and be entranced by that thing. Do you know what I mean? So you're completely right there with the electronic music stuff, but that's why there's some stuff that's really, really exciting, like you know, like Peaches. You know, like Peaches is wild because it is like do you know what I mean?
Do you mean peaches as in the peaches I think of?
Yeah,
the teachers of peaches.
Yeah.
Serpentine, serpentine, never straight line.
Did I not just do that?
Yeah, sick.
Is that not what I just did?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was with you, and I was like, so Electro Clash is like, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But Peaches is like, we're gonna drop out those 3 kicks there, so that this white noise can come in, and that's very much like within the space of that genre and the rules of that genre, and just breaking them down. But Peaches does it with style and flair. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think even still within those, that's how the autonomic thing was born. You know, you've got drum and bass, which is made by like, you know, instrumental Bodica, who was then Swamp 81 and whatever else. Amazing, phenomenal producer. Probably like a really needed voice. You know what I mean? In this time, in my opinion, because there's so much stuff that I learnt from that individual, do you know what I mean? Which isn't getting practiced or done, do you know what I mean? And not just Bodica, but there's a load of different people. I think Zed Bias is one of those people, like people with styles and techniques. But like the autonomic stuff was like deconstructed. The easiest way is like deconstructed like drum and bass and jungle. So you'd have like this big Reese and like do you know what I mean? It's
if you ever do an impression of my singing like that, I'll get you good. I will get you. I know your address and I know which window's yours.
Yeah. But do you know what I mean? Sorry.
No blessings.
But that's it. I think you're completely right. But also, do you know what I mean? Fuck 'em. Do you know what I mean? Like, just you already do this stuff anyway. Just do what you want, because ultimately, everyone being the same is better for us. You know what I mean? That's a really selfish way of looking at it. But if there's 95 of them making like drill or techno or drum and bass, and there's 5 of us making drill, techno, drum and bass, and vocal in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just better, like, the expression's better, you know what I mean? In my opinion.
One more question. We've got time for one more question before we go back to the open deck. Leo.
Sure. It follows on from that conversation, but, like, did you feel like the limits of MCing and rapping over club music led you to the stuff that you make now in a way that you were sort of like frustrated that you couldn't express yourself fully in those settings? Or was it was different appreciation, different?
I ended up doing more vocal things because I'd be producing and I'd be putting music out there, and I'd go, like, I'd be sat in rooms with, like dons in it. Obviously, people have realized themselves in, you know, like, when we were doing Hoya Hoya at the Roadhouse, you know.
R.I.P. the Roadhouse.
Come on.
Miss you, baby.
People like Lunacy, you know, people like Hudson Mohawk, Gaslamp Killer, Kutma. These weren't like household names. Like now they're household names, like Tonight and, you know, Rodinio, the whole Lucky Me thing. Like these were just like all fringe things that were really exciting. But like we'd all just be coming together in different parts of the country to make it work. You know, all your units and, you know, Blue Daisies, who's like Quez Darko, who produced like the Slow Tie album, and he's produced like, you know, James Blake's, you know what I mean, coming through. Like all these people are now like mountains in themselves. Do you know what I mean? Whereas at the time, like, nobody was really caring or paying attention to that. It's like if you knew the sound and you were into it, you came down and listened to it. So I think for me, I was always super engaged as an MC anyway. Like I was doing the Riot Jazz stuff, the Swamp stuff, the True Tiger stuff. Like I'd plenty to engage me, but I'd be making these tunes and showing them to people. And people like, oh, aren't you vocal in them chunks? Because for other people, it just made sense that, you know, being a shit hot MC, like, why are you not putting the lyrics on these shit hot beats? You know what I'm saying? Whereas for me, I was like, I've not made this to be vocaled. I've made this to rock the Casbah, man. You know what I mean? Same as your tune, bro. Like, I don't need flotation bands, you know what I mean? Like my tune's hard as nails as well. Do you know what I mean? But I think moving back to Manchester, and like after years and years on Rinse, I was like sat in the gaff. I was trying these things. I was trying these vocal ideas on these vocal beds or whatever, and then it was actually like Chimpo, Dub Physics, and Fallacy, who's like legendary UK rapper, and all three of them in the same week like approached me and went, "Where's the album?" And I was like, "This is weird." I was like, "They've defo set up a WhatsApp group or something." Do you know what I mean? Like, this is weird, but like they all, I mean, Dub Physics and Chimpo, they definitely had a conversation, but they didn't have a conversation with Fallacy. He just said it himself. And then I had music. I had like tunes with lyrics on that weren't finished, or I had a tune with a hook on, or, do you know what I mean? I had the semblance of what could be an album. And I was just like, yeah, all right, sweet. Like I want to, like, it's time to try something else. Because I've been on microphone since I was like 12, 13. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm 34. Do you know what I mean? I'm 34. No, but like, that's, you know, so by the time I've written the album, which is like, I probably had the album ready before I was 30. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I probably had it because like, there's so much of it that's like taken years to even, like, I don't know if you listen to it, but there's an interview after Yes I with my little cousin when he's 7, and then the second interview with him on the album is when he's 14, after Long and Strong, and that's like 7 years to get the response to that call. You know what I mean? So when people say, how long did the album take to make, it's like, it's difficult. It's like about 10 years, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? Like, writing it, like, some of the lyrics might have got written towards the last 5% of the process. Do you know what I mean? But in total, to pull that thing together, it's a very long time. Do you know what I mean? So, like, being on microphones for that long, it's just like, and the crowds were changing as well, and the music wasn't, this is going to sound terrible saying it on camera, but like, the music, Don't do it, bro.
Cut it now. Cut it now.
Yeah. Thank you very much. No, the music wasn't as varied. You know, like the
what,
time
before or now?
No, like before, when I was coming up, the music was varied as fuck. Do you know what I mean? The whole point is like you'd stand on a dance floor and you'd have like a rave full of like 500, 800, 1,000 people waiting to hear something they'd never heard before, feel something they'd never felt before through a set of speakers. That happened in here, in the Roadhouse, like in loads of places. You know, case in point, James Blake. You know, James comes and he's like, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Whereas like now and from a few years back, I feel it's very much like people really want to hear something they're familiar with.
Yep.
Even if it's not like, right, this is a new garage tune, but I'm going to put the Sugar Babes over the top. Wicked. We can make it work. And that's the rise of edits. You know what I'm saying?
I think they're being trained to.
Yeah, that's...
I listen to Capital FM and I'm like, you're training people to expect so little. It's wild.
But I think it's also part of what we were talking about this morning, P. It's about the different tribes of things, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think when you've got things that challenge what you know as normal, computer says no, you know what I mean? Computer error. Like, people don't like that. They don't like things that are different. So it's kind of like... Whereas you before you'd be able, like, you know, things like Swamp are very interesting because that's the, you know, every person that's involved in Swamp 81 is from a different place. A drum and bass, garage, techno, dubstep, like, and when Swamp happened, it meant that, like, all the different corners of the electronic world were all focused into one place. And it was like, what is this sound? It sounds a bit like this. It sounds a bit like that. It's at this tempo. Is it techno? Is it bass? Is it whatever? And I think you'll see there's less and less of that. You know what I mean? Whereas one point you could get like Ben UFO on a lineup with Koki, on a lineup with, you know, High Contrast. You know what I mean? Like now you will go and it'll be drum and bass from 8 p.m. or it'll be techno from 8 p.m. or it'll be this specific. Do you know what I mean? There's less.
It's all algorithms, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
We get everyone of the same algorithm on to make one super algorithm, and it's just, I'm conscious of time. We're going to have to wrap up soon.
No, it's all right.
To hear some
we
more
can
of
do
the
the
music.
raps in the place. No, there you go.
I was up for that. That was a great outro. But I want to thank you massively for all your insights and everything. Sorry your laptop didn't work. Thank you to Dan Valentine for the charger. But yeah, blessings to Chunky. Big up. Yeah, sick. Obviously, you can check the rest.
No, I was just going to say, can I get a round of applause for my parents,
yeah.
please?
Thanks for everything.
Yeah. You killed it, man.
Yeah, you did.
Killed it.
And again, want to remind everybody, if you have a moment for the QR codes that are positioned beautifully around, please do give some feedback. Make it positive if you like. I'm not swaying you, but please say something positive so we can keep going and, you know, we can just feed the Arts Council machine, man. Is it still recording? Whatever. Feed the Arts Council machine. But blessings for coming out. Hugely appreciate it. And shouts, please, another applause for everybody who shared their tracks as well. It's not a small thing. And it's incredibly high standard, so blessings for that as well. You want to close on the statement?
Big up, thank you very much. Like, I used to, like, obviously CDR, when it started, used to be a club night where people would go and just hand up. And I remember thinking, like, when I started producing, I was like, I wish CDR was still on, so I could just go and test my tunes. Yeah. And then to actually get asked to, like, speak and, like, it's like, you know what I mean? It's more just like dreams come true type shit. So thank you very much for having me on there, man.
You made your dreams come true. Blessings. Another round of applause for Chunky, please. Thank you.